Alright guys, welcome back to another Article 13 video. That's right guys, got another one. Yes, we are back on this subject again. This subject ain't gonna die within me. But the reason being is because I wanted to make a quick update about the whole Article 13 situation, especially when I think in January they're going to be finalizing everything about it. So there isn't really a lot of time now. But I also wanted to address more things about Article 13 and Article 11, which is another article that I had no effing clue about before. In fact, Pink Wave Gamer was the one who told me about that article, so big thank you to her for that. And this time I have bullet pointed my whole points on my phone, so hopefully this video isn't going to be a whole 20 minutes of me rambling and repeating myself like I did the last time I filmed this. So let's just see. So as you know, or if you haven't found out about this yet, Article 13 is a copyright directive, soon to be law, that aims to stop copyrighted material being shared and uploaded online. Okay, so the intention at first sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And it also wants to, promote more traffic and revenue towards, the actual people creating that content. So yeah, the intention sounds pretty good. Sounds pretty noble. That's what we want, don't we? We don't want copyrighted material being misused or abused online. But of course, there is a difference between good intentions versus the methods being used to carry out that intention. After all, even in history, we have figures that basically had good intentions, but the methods that we used to carry out that intention were entirely wrong. Essentially, they want to regulate tighter control over copyrighted material. And in the process, this law will target and place greater responsibility on online platforms to stop the copyright versus targeting the user uploading that copyright. So basically, online platforms will be targeted by this law. So things like YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, etc. These online platforms by law will have to monitor their content and ensure that copyrighted material isn't being shared or uploaded on their websites. And say if any copyrighted content is being shared or uploaded on their websites, the online platform will be held liable and responsible for this activity, not the user uploading the content, but the website themselves. So they're the ones who are going to face fines, lawsuits, court cases, etc. So say for example, if I uploaded a video of a gameplay that I don't own, because obviously I don't own that gameplay, it belongs to its original owners, and it had, copyrighted material in it, like music, visuals, etc. The law wouldn't hold me responsible for that. They would hold YouTube responsible. Or say if someone uploaded a documentary video talking about a historical figure, and they used images of that figure for their documentary, and obviously that image doesn't belong to them, YouTube will get in trouble for that. So if you don't own 100% of whatever's in that video and it's shared online, the platform like YouTube, etc. would get in trouble for that. So this places more stress on online platforms to ensure that copyrighted material isn't being shown on their websites. But how can companies like YouTube possibly check and monitor if all their content being uploaded is 100% copyright free? After all, there's no way that human individuals will be able to sit there and monitor and delete every single video or content being uploaded every day, as it's humanly impossible. Millions of videos are uploaded every day. In fact, I think I read somewhere that by the time you watch one video, 1,000 more videos are uploaded after that. And some videos can range from 1 second to 10-20 hours. I mean, I'm not sure what the longest video there is on YouTube. Someone can comment and tell me that. I got no clue. 300 hours of videos are uploaded every single minute. There's no way people like YouTube can check and take down every single one of those videos that may be breaching copyright. It's humanly impossible. And don't forget that this law isn't just targeting videos. They are targeting sounds, texts, writing. They're targeting every little thing that's going to be on the internet. So it's not just videos, it's literally everything. So websites will then have to implement the use of upload filters and technology to identify and recognize any copyrighted material before it's even uploaded. So they are using technology like upload filters to detect any copyright material instead of them, like checking it, because obviously they can't check every single video. It's impossible. So this means that by using these upload automatic filters, videos will be instantly blocked before it even becomes uploaded. And if, say, any copyright material is detected in those videos, whether that's wrongfully or rightfully, their videos will get deleted and their channels will probably get deleted because of this as well. YouTube cannot risk handling millions of lawsuits caused by millions of uploads every day, so they have to place an upload filter and they have to rely on this technology to weed out and block out millions of content. But here lies some criticisms. Firstly, 80% of YouTube's content isn't copyright free. Things like reaction videos, documentaries, film reviews, fanfictions, gameplays, animations, memes, creepypasta readings, remixes, I could go on forever. They all have content that isn't 100% belonging to that user. That user doesn't own 100% of that content. Millions of these types of content are uploaded every time. So would this law then affect these types of contents? Since users don't own 100% of that content, it don't belong to them. Also, this law is also basically attacking and destroying the use of fair use. There is a difference between copyrighted material versus someone using that material for fair use. They are using that material to add commentary over it. They're using it to educate. They're using it to criticize. They are using that material in a transformative manner. So essentially, is this law going to then target fair use instead? And here comes a major criticism of upload filters. How can upload filters possibly tell the difference, possibly differentiate between content that is basically using copyrighted material for fair use versus actual people copywriting material illegally? How are upload filters, technology, bots possibly humanly going to distinguish between what is fair use and what is copyright? How can they humanly tell that? That is what I'm just confused about. For example, someone could be using an image of a historical figure for a documentary, and the image they used doesn't belong to them, since they're not the ones who took that effing image back in the 18th century. So obviously they didn't take that picture. But clearly that person is using that copyrighted image for fair use, to use that material to teach, to educate, to add criticism. So if these upload filters scan that person's videos, the filters would recognize that there is a copyrighted image being used in that video. Hence, that video would be instantly blocked in the filter system. How can upload filters possibly tell the difference between material that is copyrighted versus material that is being used for fair use instead? Technological filters lack that human ability to tell the difference between satires, parodies, criticisms, commentary, etc. So user-generated content, of course, will be massively destroyed and eliminated because of this law. Videos will be wrongfully taken down in this case. So essentially, bigger companies and the bigger labels will thrive and be all happy. They get all the money they want, whereas freedom of speech, freedom of expression, user-generated content, all will die, and that breaches so many human rights. Not to mention, most of the user-generated content doesn't even make money from it. They do it because of passion for love. So you're basically just killing people's freedoms and livelihood, and basically, what they like doing, you're just killing that. Even if they're not making a profit from it, they're doing it for fun, they're doing it because they enjoy it, you're just killing that off. Another key criticism, which was discussed by many MEPs in emails that were sent to me, was that smaller online platforms will have to buy monitoring software for their websites. They're going to have to invest in upload filters. And if they're a smaller website, how will they be able to afford that financially? Especially if they're smaller, how can they afford that? You're putting such a huge financial stress on these websites, and in doing so, will those websites still run? Are they going to shut down because of that? Even worst case scenario, they are probably going to have to buy filters that they can afford, but those filters might be even more inadequate at actually detecting what's copyright and what's fair use. Hence, they might even make the problem worse. Possibly even more content will be taken down as a result if you get cheaper softwares like that. Another thing is that this article will lead to a lack of diversity online. This law wants to spread more traffic to the bigger labels, more revenue to the bigger labels, whatever, you do your thing. But at the same time, other sites and user-generated content will be absolutely finished because of this. their voices are going to be eliminated forever. And this is what I'm saying, is that even though the intentions of this article are good, or they seem good, the method being used to orchestrate this is so wrong. And I got no clue how technology can supposedly recognize what content is satire or criticism or parody versus actual illegal copyright. Also, linking back to the lack of diversity online, I also wanted to bring up Article 11, which will practically eliminate diversity of news sources. Now, I've only just discovered this, so obviously if I get the information wrong, I'm so sorry. But basically, from what I know is Article 11 is known as the link tax or snippet tax, which basically wants to control how news is spread online, which already sounds horrible. As you know, you can find news on Facebook, Twitter, as well as the main news organization, and that is normally how I find out about current affairs, because normally if I'm on Twitter, etc., and I'm scrolling through my feed, I see these news, I see these headlines, and that is how I find out about some of my current affairs. What this Article 11 thing wants to do is, if Facebook or Twitter links someone else's news story, and they quote from these main original news organizations, they gotta pay a license for this. Like, companies like Google might be able to afford that license, but how will smaller news organizations afford this? How much text can people link, and at what price? How will news actually spread to the wider public if you're just niching the market for news? It's like people want to own these news stories. They want to make sure that all traffic goes to their homepage. You are eliminating accessibility to so many news sources that people use every day, and because of this law, because of the lack of diversity in the news, the public will probably have less of a knowledge of what is going on in the world and with current affairs. This could seriously hurt websites such as our beloved Wikipedia, as it relies on reference news links to confirm information which are provided by users. Not to mention, in the EU, content outside the EU will probably get blocked. People outside the EU will lose audiences who live in the EU. So yeah, guys, as a whole, this internet is essentially being controlled. And that's why I call it a dictatorship. That's why I call it a censorship, because they are wrongfully controlling what we use and what we view and what we create. And at the same time, it's jeopardizing user-generated content just so the bigger companies and bigger labels stay big. And oh my god, this video was much longer than I expected, but oh well, I'm sorry guys. But what can we do essentially? I'm not really too sure myself, because it's very likely that this law is going to go through, and I doubt they are going to listen to us. But it doesn't mean that we stop voicing our opinions. It doesn't mean that we stop fighting. It doesn't mean that we stop trying to create change, even though maybe nothing's going to happen. But it's better to try and do something than to just sit back and just let it happen. It's better to try, at least, no matter what happens. So here's some things that we can do. Like, one off, it's free. You can email your MEPs, members in the European Parliament. So basically, if you just go on Google and just write to your MEPs, and basically you'll find a link. Here's like one link, for example. I will link this in the description below. As you can see, you've got all these 73 UK MEPs. Each country will have different amount of MEPs, but you can just Google this. And then here you can find the different regions about where they are. You could just check your region, even email all the regions if you want. That's what I've been trying to do. But yeah, you can check your region, and then and then just click on that. You'll find loads of names, and in most cases it will provide you with an email address and even a written address, so you can check them out and get in touch. Also, when you're emailing, I know it's so tempting to just, rage and, completely go, even though we're thinking it, but we gotta try and argue this in a civil way, so, And even if you receive a reply back and they don't support, what you're talking about, try not to, rage back, instantly, because what I've been doing is I've been picking up points that they mention in their reply to me, and then I've been presenting a reverse argument to that. So for example, in one email I got from this lady, she said, that the intentions are good, it's to help, music labels. But then my reverse argument was that even though the intentions are good, the method and practice of it is not good. In fact, the method being used to orchestrate this is actually going to heavily hit so many user-generated content creators, etc. So the intention is right, but the method is completely wrong. How it's being carried out, it's only going to basically ruin the internet and practically destroy user-generated content. Also, even if you don't email them, they're on Twitter. Even the EU is on Twitter. Just literally at them, tweet them, you know, do your thing. Also, spread the word. Like, there's so many people that have no idea about this. Spread the word, tweet about it, use the hashtag Saveyourinternet. You know, keep spreading the word and discussing it, because there's so many people who are actually unaware about this. The bigger creators, again, like I said in my last video, I doubt you're watching this, but it'd actually be so helpful if more bigger creators spoke about this, and that way they can actually voice their opinions. They can email MEPs. It will set a fury. It could set a storm, which is what we need. Because even though there have been very few creators that have actually talked about it, even though they talk about it, it is up to us, the public, to act on that. Because the reason why those big creators made those videos talking about Article 13 was so that we take some action, so that way we start voicing about this. So we shouldn't depend on a big creator to, you know, make that change for us. We are the ones who have to follow on from that. We are the ones who have to actually voice as well. It is a two-way process, basically. Make videos on the topic, you know, talk about it, make more people know about it. And even if you're a big creator or a small creator, make some videos about the topic, you know, keep spreading awareness. Also, I will put a link to a petition that's been going around to, you know, to save your internet. It has reached nearly 4 million signatures, so please sign it if you haven't. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Even though change petitions might not necessarily work, but it's still worth signing. There's no harm in signing it. Finally, just keep voicing in whatever way you can. Keep talking about it, because there's very little time. In January, the final, you know, details and everything is going to be confirmed. And after that, it's going to be law. So we have very little time now. Very little time. But yeah, guys, just keep voicing. That's the main thing we got to do. But yeah, guys, that is my video on Article 13. I don't know if it's going to be the last video on this topic. We will see. But yeah, I hope you guys got something from this. I don't know if I did a great job on this or not, but just keep spreading the word. Keep voicing yourselves. The internet is a powerful force, and I think the EU underestimates the power that the internet has, the power of the users behind it. So please fight for your internet, save your internet, and spread the word. Alright guys, I've got some hot freaking news. Okay, so basically, Julia Reader, she basically put an article out that basically mentions about how some big right holder companies, like, you know, like big production companies, sports leagues, film production companies, they basically, big industry, like, organizations sent a letter to MEPs basically saying that they would rather be left out of the whole Article 13 situation. So they don't want to be associated with Article 13. What do you think that freaking shows?